Hi, this is Jason Fielder with TriadFormula.com. I want to talk to you about scalping and why the odds are kind of stacked against you as far as making a consistent profit with scalping. Now, if you have a trade, if you're looking to trade, say, the euro, and you have a 2-pip spread and you're looking to get 100 pips or $100, if we're trading in a mini account, this would be, $2 would be our cost here, and we're looking to gain, say, $100. Well, that 2 pips, the cost of that is only 2% of our overall profit. So that's not a very large amount, but if we're trying to get, say, 10 pips or $10 worth of movement, then that 2% turns into a whopping 20%, and it really can eat into your profits when you're scalping. Now, what I'd like to talk about is how you can stack the deck in your favor. If you know when to trade and what to trade, the Forex market is kind of unique because it's a 24-hour market, and there are times when the individual sessions, like the Asian session, the London session, the Euro session, US session, New York session, there are times when those sessions are closed and no one's really trading as far as the big money, the stuff that actually moves the market. And there are times when, of course, large amounts of money are moving into the market due to the banks globally. And so if you have a way to trade those and trade all three market types, a breakout, counter trend, and a trending market, if you have a way to scalp that is profitable for all three of those, you're going to make the most amount of money. You're going to have the most scalping opportunities. And I just wanted to share with you kind of what I look for, kind of what I do, and we're going to get into specifics a little bit later in the week as to how I break these down and what exactly I look for. But let's just zip through this real quick. For my counter trend trades, when I'm scalping looking for a counter trend opportunity, this area right here, when most of the world's banks are closed prior to the Asian session starting, pretty much moves sideways. If you notice over here, it's pretty much mirrored this dead space that we're looking at, and this is a great time if you have a good counter trend strategy just to make large profits every day looking at it, and that it's going to happen. I call it my 3 to 7 trade because for me it's 3 to 7 p.m. Eastern time. So that's my 3 to 7 trade, and that's a great trade. No one's really trading at that time frame. At that time, the banks are closed. Most traders know it's a thin market, so they don't want to enter, and it's a great time to pull money out of the market. It's a great opportunity. And another way that I trade counter trend strategies is, during a large news announcement, let's say the FOMC announcement is coming out tomorrow, or say a non-farm payroll. Okay, these really, traders hold off from trading prior to these news announcements, and a lot of times, the majority of times, what happens prior to a large news announcement, it doesn't have to be a U.S. news announcement, it does have to be a large news announcement though. If, say, the euro is going to announce their interest rate, well, what do you think the euro-US dollar is going to do prior to that news announcement? It's pretty much just going to move sideways because no one wants to jump in and when there could be a change, a drastic change, a fundamental change in the currency that could make it move. So what you can do, if you know this, and we all know ahead of time when these news announcements are going to occur, we can just go in and take profits out of that sideways market. And the beautiful thing about it is it's a great way to trade the news with a lower amount of risk compared to when you trade it, say, using a breakout. Now, another way I trade is with breakouts. If you notice the different sessions around the world, we have the Asian session, we have the European session, and we also have the London session, and then we have the New York session. And at the beginning of these sessions, we have a lot of money coming in, and this is where I use a breakout strategy to scalp the market. And I know when these are going to occur. I know that every day, at these 4 times, I'm going to be looking at the market. It doesn't take a whole lot of time, but if the scalp is there, I'm going to take it, and if it's not, I'll come back tomorrow. So using breakouts to scalp the market can be extremely profitable as well. I also use the breakout strategy to trade the news on occasion. It's riskier, so I definitely leverage down, but it is something that I do. So that's another way that you can scalp the market using a breakout strategy. And of course, trend strategy, which I haven't really talked about, you can look for at any time. And I have setups that I use that I can trade the market. Look for those setups. I look for setups, and it allows me to trade on pretty much any time frame I want. I can look for setups, from the month down to the 30-minute time frame for scalping the market. As far as the setups, and I actually can scalp the market on the minute time frame, the 5-minute, 15-minute, 30-minute. I typically do the majority of my scalping on the 15 and 30-minute. Occasionally drop down to the 5-minute. Really don't touch the 1 minute, although you can. I just find that the accuracy is really good on the 15-minute time frame. It allows you to get in and get out and not risk that much overall. So that's a great way to, whenever you're looking at the markets, whatever time period it is, to look for opportunities. So I have scalping opportunities I know they're going to come up every day, that time at a certain time frame, so that allows me to plan and have a schedule that way. I also have scalping strategies where I can just jump in the market, and if I have some free time or my schedule's kind of switched around, I can jump in and look for opportunities and pull pips out of the market, and I'm not locked down to those specific time frames to trade. Well, that about does it for what I wanted to go over just real quick. And like I said, we're going to get into in future videos, we're going to get into very specific, how do I do this? How am I able to use a counter trend strategy prior to the news to pull out profit? How do I use a breakout strategy at the open of the markets globally to pull out profits? And also, how do I find trends on the 5-minute time frame and the 15-minute time frame? How can I do that? Well, that about does it for now. Until next time, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.